I literally cannot with the timeline today. Like, I am physically exhausted from looking at my phone.
No, it is actually a disaster zone out there today. I feel like I need a nap and a legal degree just to open Instagram.
Babes, welcome back. We love you. We see you. And honestly, before we get into today's celebrity chaos, can we talk about the fact that our own lives are starting to sound like rejected reality TV storylines?
Oh, completely. I woke up today feeling like I was the villain in a Bravo reunion, and I hadn't even had my coffee yet.
Which is exactly why I am sitting here with a pitcher, yes, an entire pitcher of raspberry mojitos.
Pour me one right now, please.
Done. Because we need it. Snark Squad, I am aggressively caffeinated. I have the mojitos on deck, and I just want to raise a glass to you all. Cheers to surviving another day, honestly.
Cheers to that, because today was one of those days where the universe just decides to stress test your executive functioning skills, you know, just to see if you will finally break.
Oh, the spiral was so real today. Like, let me break down the absolute crisis I had this morning over something so incredibly small it's actually embarrassing to admit out loud.
Please, I need to hear this.
Okay, so I go to my local coffee shop, right? My one tiny sliver of joy in this capitalist hellscape.
Right, the daily treat. Essential for survival.
Essential. So I order my iced latte with oat milk. I get to the car. I take a sip. It's almond milk.
Oh, no.
Now, a normal, well-adjusted person would either just drink it or, politely go back inside and ask for a new one.
But you are not a normal, well-adjusted person.
I am not. What did I do? I sat in my car staring blankly at the steering wheel and had a full personality crisis.
Over almond milk.
Over a nut-based milk alternative. I literally sat there thinking, like, is this the universe signaling that I am fundamentally misunderstood as a human being?
Oh my God, you went deep.
I was like, am I on the wrong career path? Should I sell all my possessions and move to a goat farm in Vermont? Like, it felt that heavy.
See, but if we break down the psychology of that, it's not actually about the almond milk at all.
Thank you. Please validate me.
No, it's about decision fatigue. By the time you get to that coffee shop, your brain has already processed like 1,000 micro decisions.
Literally.
You are operating at maximum cognitive capacity. So when the one variable you thought you controlled your coffee order goes wrong, your brain interprets it as a complete systemic failure.
Yes, that is exactly what it felt like. A structural collapse in the front seat of a Honda Civic.
You can handle a major life crisis, but a bitter coffee. That is the structural collapse of your mental scaffolding.
Exactly. And honestly, this is why public spaces are so unhinged right now. Like, we're all just one wrong coffee order away from a breakdown.
Speaking of breaking down, I had to suppress a full-blown unhinged cackle today in the middle of a bookstore.
Wait, what happened?
So I was browsing, just minding my own business, and I overheard two people talking in the aisle next to me.
Oh, I love eavesdropping.
It's the best. And one of them was deadpan, explaining to the other how they accidentally agreed to join a multi-level marketing scheme.
Wait, how do you accidentally join a pyramid scheme?
Because they genuinely thought it was a neighborhood book club.
Stop it right now! I am screaming!
I am dead serious. The sheer panic in this person's voice as they realized they didn't have to read, like, romantasy novels, but instead had to figure out how to sell essential oils to their high school enemies.
Oh my God, that is a tragedy.
It was cinematic. I was biting my lips so hard I tasted metal. Real life is honestly the greatest unproduced reality show ever created.
It really is, which just proves my ongoing theory that there is no such thing as running quote-unquote one quick errand.
Oh, absolutely not. A quick errand is a myth.
I left my house today for a singular objective, okay? I needed to buy a greeting card, one piece of folded cardboard.
Let me guess, you went to Target.
I went to Target. 2 hours later, babes, I am wandering the aisles with a cart full of decorative wicker baskets I do not have room for. I have 3 different types of artisan sea salt in the cart, and I am actively trying to remember what year it is.
Because the retail architecture there is weaponized against you.
Right. Like, why does leaving the house immediately turn into a hostage situation where you lose all sense of time and space?
You walk into Target, and those fluorescent lights hit your retinas, and it immediately alters your brain chemistry.
It really does. It's like a casino.
Exactly. It's a casino for domestic goods. There are no clocks. There are no windows in the center of the store.
Just endless aisles of things I suddenly need.
They strategically place that dollar spot seasonal aisle right where you walk in, so your brain just gets hit with a massive dopamine rush of novelty.
Yes. Suddenly, I am convinced that a throw-a-pillow shaped like a lemon is going to cure my seasonal depression.
It's sensory manipulation. You stand no chance.
Weaponized retail architecture. I love that. That is so incredibly validating to hear. But wait, speaking of things designed to cause panic, We have to talk about the text message I got this afternoon.
Oh, God, what was it?
I am sitting on my couch trying to recover from Target, and I get an unprompted text from a number I do not have saved in my phone.
The worst.
And it just says, quote, "Can we talk about what happened?"
No, absolutely not. That is the most terrifying combination of words in the English language.
Snark Squad, I went into full forensic detective mode.
I would have thrown my phone in the ocean.
I was running the number through a reverse search engine. I am checking my Venmo transaction history. I am literally cross-referencing my location data for the last 72 hours.
Trying to build a timeline of who you could have possibly offended.
Yes, I was this close to legally changing my name and fleeing the state.
Let me guess. It was a completely mundane, automated message.
It was my dentist's office.
I knew it.
The receptionist was texting me from some new automated system to ask about an insurance copay rejection from, 3 weeks ago.
See, they need to fix their phrasing. That is emotional abuse.
I almost faked my own death over a $40 dental claim, and that's when I had the aha moment today.
What was the revelation?
Adulthood is really just managing these tiny, annoying, manufactured fires all day long until you can finally put on your sweatpants, pour a drink, and gossip with your best friend.
It really is. That is the entire human experience right there.
Yeah.
And while we're out there managing those tiny fires, we really need to acknowledge that people watching has become the elite spectator sport of our generation.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you are in the trenches of Target and the dentist's office. But I firmly believe that airports, malls, and coffee shops are the absolute apex of human drama.
Mm-hmm. The airport is a completely lawless ecosystem.
It really is.
Time is a construct there. Calories do not register. You can literally eat a personal pan pizza and drink a Bloody Mary at 6 in the morning, and society just accepts it.
Exactly. So I was at the airport recently, and I witnessed a couple arguing right by the boarding gate.
Oh, the pre-flight fight. Clap.
But it wasn't a hushed, embarrassed whisper, They had crossed the threshold where they completely forgot other humans existed.
Oh, they were in the zone.
They were starring in their own tragic indie film. And I was sitting there just analyzing their body language like a behavioral scientist.
What were they doing? Give me the play-by-play.
He had the rigid defensive arm cross.
Oof.
And she was doing the exasperated full-body pivot away from him, but she was still maintaining this intense eye contact over her shoulder.
Oh, wow. The over-the-shoulder glare is lethal.
It is.
Yeah.
I didn't even care where my flight was going anymore. I just wanted to know who forgot to pack the right phone charger, because that was clearly the inciting incident.
See, I love when people just release the burden of public decorum like that. It is a gift to the rest of us.
A true public service.
I saw someone at the mall today wearing an outfit so confidently outrageous that it demanded my absolute respect.
What were they wearing?
Okay, picture this. Neon green platform Crocs.
Bold.
A heavy faux fur coat in the dead of summer.
Oh, my God.
And oversized mirrored ski goggles.
Wait, inside the mall?
Inside the mall. Walking past the Auntie Anne's pretzels like it was a runway in Milan. And honestly, I stopped spiraling about my almond milk latte because I was so in awe of their commitment to the bit.
When someone has that level of unapologetic audacity, you just have to bow down.
You really do.
It's the grocery store interactions that fascinate me the most, though. It's like a nature documentary unfolding in real time.
The grocery store is a jungle.
It is. You have the aggressive cart pushers establishing dominance in the produce section.
The people who squeeze every single avocado.
Yes. And then you have the people who abandon their carts dead center in the aisle to stare blankly at 40 different types of pasta sauce.
Completely oblivious to the traffic jam they are causing. I hate those people.
And then my personal favorite, you have the couples silently communicating their deep existential disdain for each other over the price of organic chicken breasts.
Yes, it's a masterclass in nonverbal hostility.
It really is. But eventually we retreat to the safety of our homes, and the jungle just continues on our glowing rectangle.
It never stops.
Which brings me to our internet obsessions.
What is the current trend that is absolutely eating your algorithm right now? Because my For You page has me in a chokehold.
My algorithm knows exactly who I am.
Yeah.
It knows I am overly invested in pop culture moments that have absolutely no bearing on my actual life.
Same.
I will gladly spend 45 minutes reading a Twitter thread dissecting a celebrity feud from 2014 that I wasn't even aware of when it originally happened.
Wait, what feud?
Oh, just some random drama where a backup dancer subtweeted a pop star 12 years ago But I needed to know the lore. It felt urgent.
It is urgent. It's cultural history.
Exactly. What about you? What trend is stalking you?
I am currently trapped in that inescapably annoying TikTok trend where everyone is doing the hyper-specific, aggressively mundane day-in-the-life voiceover.
Oh my God.
Like, quote, "Come with me as a 27-year-old corporate girly who does nothing but drink matcha, complain about unread emails, and romanticize staring at a wall."
I know exactly the audio you were talking about. It's so repetitive and it glamorizes absolute stagnation, yet I physically cannot stop watching them. It's smoothing my brain out in the most delightful way.
It is mesmerizing. We just want to watch people do nothing.
We really do. Which perfectly segues into my 1 a.m. rabbit hole from last night.
Oh, what did you fall into?
I spent nearly an hour in bed furiously researching the legal history of reality TV contracts.
Wait, really?
Yes, specifically the evolution of the non-disclosure agreement, the NDA.
Okay, I need you to explain this because I always hear reality stars screaming about NDAs, but half the time they just leak everything to the blogs anyway. Like, how do they actually work?
Right, so let's look at the mechanics of it. The standard reality TV NDA used to be incredibly porous. In the early 2000s, networks only protected the final outcome of a show.
Like, who won Survivor or whatever?
Exactly. But as the genre evolved into docusoaps, the contracts had to adapt to protect the narrative itself.
Yeah.
Modern Bravo or TLC contracts are aggressively broad.
How broad are we talking?
They don't just say, don't spoil the ending. They legally mandate that the cast member cannot disparage the network, cannot reveal production secrets, and cannot discuss unaired conflicts.
But they do. They discuss them all the time on podcasts and Instagram Lives.
And that is the fascinating loophole. The NDAs are binding between the cast member and the production company. But if a cast member leaks a storyline to a quote-unquote friend, and that friend goes to a gossip blog, the network has a very hard time proving breach of contract without subpoenaing journalists.
Which they never want to do because of the bad PR.
Right. So the evolution of the NDA essentially charts the history of human betrayal on camera.
Yeah.
The networks keep building taller legal walls, and the reality stars keep finding sneakier ways to tunnel under them to control their own public narratives.
This is why you are my favorite person. You are doing forensic legal history on Bravo contracts at 1 a.m., and I'm zooming in on paparazzi photos to see if someone is wearing their wedding ring.
We balance each other out perfectly.
We really do. But babes, speaking of airtight contracts, financial ruin, and controlling the narrative, let's get into the celebrity gossip, viral drama, and internet madness that brought us all here tonight.
I am so ready.
Grab your mojitos, Snark Squad, because we are heading straight to Beverly Hills.
Let's unpack the absolute legal warfare happening right now with Dorit and PK Kemsley.
Oh my God.
The filings that hit the blogs are staggering, not just for the numbers, but for what they reveal about the actual mechanics of reality TV wealth.
Staggering doesn't even begin to cover it. I read the court docs, and I literally had to put my glasses on to make sure I wasn't hallucinating the zeros.
The math is wild.
It is wild. Dora is demanding $43,000 a month.
A month?
Let me break that down for you, babes.
Yeah.
She wants $21,000 in child support and $22,000 in spousal support every single month.
It's a lot of money.
And on top of that, she wants a $347,000 lump sum for back support, and she is asking the judge to sanction PK for $40,000 due to his behavior in court.
See, we have to look at how California calculates this, because people see those numbers on the timeline and think she just picked a random lottery figure out of the sky.
Right, like she just spun a wheel.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But California Family Court relies on a very strict algebraic formula for temporary support. It factors in the gross income of both parties and the standard of living established during the marriage.
So she can't just make it up.
No. If her lawyers are asking for $33K a month, they are signaling to the court that PK's actual provable income, or his earning capacity, is massive, which completely contradicts the rest of the filing.
That is exactly what I was screaming at my phone. Because the rest of the filing reads like a financial horror movie.
It's so dark.
She is accusing PK of essentially trying to evict their own children. According to the documents, they are facing foreclosure on their home, which is valued somewhere between $6.5 and $8 million.
An $8 million foreclosure.
Dorit claims that when PK moved out back in May 2024, he promised to pay the mortgage in lieu of formal child support. And then he just ghosted the bill.
I need to understand the mechanism of how someone just ghosts an $8 million mortgage without the other person knowing.
Right. From what the filings suggest, if he was the one handling the finances and communicating with the lenders, all the digital notices, the emails, the phone calls from the bank, they would be going to him.
So she's completely in the dark.
Totally. If you trust your partner to hit pay on the portal and they just, delete the email instead, you won't know until the bank physically sends a representative or a certified letter to the property.
That is terrifying.
Can you imagine the sheer terror? You are Dorrit Kemsley. You are dripping in head-to-toe Chanel logos. You are walking into SUR for a Vanderpump crossover event, acting like you own the world, and meanwhile, the bank is literally leaving slips on your door because your estranged husband stopped paying the bills.
It's the ultimate facade cracking in real time.
She claims he is weaponizing a quote-unquote sleight of hand to render her and the kids homeless.
But this is where the legal strategy turns into a reality TV mudslinging match. Because we have to talk about the spending war.
Yep. Oh, the spending war is my favorite part of this entire mess.
PK is fighting back, accusing Dorrit of dropping $1 million on luxury goods over the past year, while the house was literally hurtling toward foreclosure.
And Dorrit's clapback to this is something that belongs in a museum of modern scams.
It's unbelievable.
She claims she spent $217,000 just for season 15 and $500,000 on past seasons just to be quote-unquote camera ready.
And what is her defense for that?
Her actual documented legal defense is that she returns most of it because it doesn't fit or is unsuitable.
So she is claiming she is wardrobing on a massive scale.
Yes. And I am going to passionately push back on this being a viable defense. Is wardrobing, buying a luxury item, keeping the tags hidden, wearing it on camera, and returning it, is that a valid legal defense for extreme spending in a high-stakes divorce?
Or is it just admitting to a judge that you are a serial scammer?
Exactly. I get it. I have bought a Zara blazer, kept the tag tucked in, worn it to a job interview, and returned it. We have all been 22 and completely broke.
Oh, for sure. The Zara return walk of shame is a rite of passage.
But doing it with $500,000 of Hermes and Chanel?
From a legal perspective, it's a wildly risky defense. It might lower her actual net spend on a spreadsheet, but it completely destroys her credibility.
It's fraud.
It is. Returning a worn item as new is technically return fraud. Retailers have massive loss prevention departments dedicated to this exact thing. If you admit in a legal filing that your entire aesthetic is built on systematic return fraud, a family court judge is going to look at your character very skeptically.
It's such a bad look.
Furthermore, the logistics of wardrobing at that scale are just mind-boggling. You need a dedicated assistant and an intricate Excel spreadsheet just to track the 14-day and 30-day return windows across a dozen luxury boutiques.
Imagine the stress. Think about how exhausting it must be to maintain that illusion.
I would have an ulcer.
You are at a dinner party from hell, Lisa Rinna is throwing a glass, someone is screaming, and all you can think is, please do not splash Pinot Noir on this $5,000 jacket, because if I can't return it to Neiman Marcus on Monday, my water is getting shut off.
It is a psychological thriller.
It really is.
But if we follow the money, Dorrit isn't the only one with inexplicable spending habits in these docs. Dorrit counters that PK is a quote-unquote runaway spender.
Oh, he is out of control too.
She lists his recent expenses, and this is where forensic accounting becomes absolutely fascinating. She claims he spent $360,000 on travel.
Unbelievable.
$55,000 on clothes, $75,000 on food. And this is the absolute kicker. $103,000 in cash withdrawal.
$103,000 in pure cash.
Just pulling cash out of the bank.
In this economy. Who is walking around with a briefcase of cash unless you are an extra in a Scorsese mob movie? Everything is digital. I buy a pack of gum with Apple Pay now.
Exactly. When forensic accountants in a divorce see massive, unexplained cash withdrawals, massive red flags go up.
Right, because where's it going?
Cash is untraceable once it leaves the ATM. It's often used to hide assets from a spouse, to fund undeclared gambling habits, or to support a lifestyle that the spender doesn't want, showing up on an itemized bank statement during discovery.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Dorrit claims in the docs that she believed PK was making $2 million a year and had $400,000 in the bank.
But the math completely fractures there. If you are making $2 million a year, but you are pulling out $100,000 in cash, dropping nearly $400,000 on travel, and fighting over Hermes belts while the bank is actively foreclosing on your family home, that is structural financial collapse.
It raises the ultimate question about Beverly Hills culture. The absurdity of fighting over luxury labels while the bank is knocking on the door highlights how the appearance of wealth is often prioritized over actual financial stability. The brand is more important than the foundation.
It is terrifying. It really is a house of cards. But babes, speaking of real-life nightmares playing out in the public eye, we have to pivot to something much, much darker.
Yeah, this next story is incredibly heavy.
The timeline has been absolutely flooded with the details of Anne-Marie Wiley's restraining order against her estranged husband.
This moves from financial ruin to just physical danger. Anne-Marie, who was a brief blip on RHOBH last season, is going through a divorce that is escalating so rapidly.
It's so messy.
After an altercation at a Florida hotel that led to his arrest, she filed court documents alleging severe physical, emotional, and sexual abuse.
And he is, as expected in these types of filings, fighting back and vehemently denying the assault.
Of course.
He's actually trying to flip the narrative, claiming he was the primary parent all along. He's saying he was the one doing the school runs, managing the homework, holding the family together.
But the family court system has stepped in, and the logistics they have mandated for custody are incredibly bleak.
What are the exact terms? Because I saw people buzzing about it, but I didn't read the actual order.
When emergency restraining orders are granted in family court, the judges have to balance the immediate safety of the petitioner with the custodial rights of the parent. The court mandate here is shockingly strict.
Okay.
He can pick the kids up on Tuesdays and Thursdays from camp, but on Saturdays, when he gets them from the marital home, the judge has ordered that he must literally stay in his car for the handoff.
Oh my God.
He cannot get out. He also cannot leave LA County with the kids, and he has to remain 100 yards from Anne-Marie at all times.
I just want you to visualize that for a second, Snark Squad. Put yourself in the shoes of those kids.
It's devastating.
From a logistical and emotional standpoint, a stay-in-the-car custody handoff is a tragedy. You have children walking out of the front door of their home, walking down the driveway, and getting into a car idling in the street because a judge has determined that the threat of violence is so high that their parents cannot legally share the same physical space.
It completely strips away the reality TV glitz. We consume these shows for petty arguments about who sat where at a dinner party, and then you read a legal filing like this and it sobers you instantly.
It really does.
It's a stark reminder that these are real people with profound, dangerous dysfunction happening the second the producers yell cut. The psychological weight that places on the children, having to navigate that invisible 100-yard boundary line, it's just awful.
It breaks my heart. You watch for the escapism, and then reality just punches you in the gut. We desperately need a palate cleanser from these heavy legal documents before my blood pressure spikes any further.
I have the perfect pivot. Let's talk about the absolute masterclass in engagement bait happening on Instagram right now.
Yes, please. Kyle Richards and Morgan Wade.
Exactly. The blogs are in an absolute frenzy because Kyle and Morgan are back at it, playfully bantering in the comment sections for the entire world to see.
I saw this. Morgan posted a photo and Kyle commented, and Morgan teased her back about wanting to take something back to quote-unquote make a bag or a hat.
Just this very cheeky, familiar inside joke banter right out in the open.
If we look at the mechanics of social media algorithms, what they were doing is incredibly strategic.
Oh, completely calculated.
We have to ask the critical question. Is this a genuine friendship, a slow drip romantic soft launch to test the public waters, or is this just brilliant engagement bait designed to keep their names trending during the off-season?
See, I want to push back on the cynical view here. Part of me really believes it's a genuine relationship, and they are just living their truth at their own pace.
Really? You think it's just pure?
I mean, they are friends, maybe more, and friends joke on Instagram. Why does it have to be a calculated master plan?
Because Kyle Richards has been on reality television for over a decade. She understands the currency of ambiguity.
That is true. She is very savvy.
The algorithm rewards mystery and speculation. Every single time they leave a cryptic comment on each other's posts, every Bravo fan account takes a screenshot, posts it to their feed, and analyzes it like it's the Zapruder film.
It does generate thousands of comments.
It keeps Kyle relevant when the show isn't airing, which directly translates to her negotiating power for her next contract.
Okay, you're right. The reality TV fan in me, the one who has been burned by fake storylines too many times, knows that Kyle is a master producer of her own life.
She really is.
She knows exactly how to drop a breadcrumb in the comment section, step back, and watch the internet birds fight over it. She gives us just enough to keep us starving. It is an art form.
It absolutely is an art form. And speaking of masterclass producers and the mechanics of reality TV survival, let's travel down the California coast.
Leaving Beverly Hills.
Yes, we're leaving the land of forensic accounting and Beverly Hills whispers, heading straight into the land of thrown plates and screaming matches in public restaurants, Orange County.
The absolute irony that a restaurant named The Quiet Woman has served as the epicenter for the loudest, most unhinged screaming matches in reality TV history is just poetic cinema.
It really is. So let's lay out the facts of this latest incident. Tamra Judge went on a third-party podcast recently, and she claimed that Shannon Beador had an absolute screaming meltdown because Andy Cohen was handed a $504 dinner bill at The Quiet Woman.
$540.
According to Tamra's retelling, Shannon lost her mind, genuinely believing that Andy shouldn't have to pay a single dime because Shannon, quote-unquote, put the restaurant on the map.
The sheer audacity of that thought process.
Right. Now, of course, Shannon is vehemently denying this. She says there was no meltdown.
Of course she denies it.
Her version of events is that she coordinated a nice dinner for Andy and the cast, and while she admits she was slightly annoyed with how the restaurant handled the logistics of the reservation, she insists she never demanded free food for the table.
I mean, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
But I need to ask you and Snark Squad, I want you answering this in your heads right now. If you invite your ultimate boss, the multimillionaire face of the entire network, to a restaurant that you made globally famous by having a televised breakdown in it,
Yeah?
who pays the bill?
That is such a good question.
Does the restaurant comp it for the exposure? Do you pay because you invited him? Or does the multimillionaire boss pull out his corporate card?
It raises a fascinating question about the etiquette of reality TV fame versus normal corporate etiquette.
Right.
In the real world, if you invite your boss out to dinner, you pay or they expense it to the company. But in the Bravo ecosystem, there is this pervasive delusion that quote-unquote exposure is a valid form of currency.
It's wild.
Shannon genuinely believes her televised trauma brought millions of dollars of business to that restaurant, therefore the steak should be free.
But a $540 bill ruining a friendship, it is so petty. Like, Tamra bringing this to a podcast is just peak Tamra.
But look at the mechanism of what Tamra is doing here.
Yeah.
She is masterfully weaponizing the podcast circuit.
They're weaponizing it.
Yes. He drops these highly specific, deeply embarrassing yet believable anecdotes about her castmates on podcasts that Bravo doesn't control. She bypasses the network's editing room entirely to control the off-season narrative and keep her name trending.
See, I have to challenge you on the word weaponizing, though. Is she weaponizing podcasts, or is she just fulfilling the unspoken requirements of her contract?
What do you mean?
Bravo pays them to be messy and to keep the audience engaged year-round. If they go totally silent between seasons, they get fired for being boring.
That's a good point.
Tamra knows a story about a $500 dinner bill, is petty enough to be funny, but believable enough to go viral. She's just doing her job.
It's a fair counterpoint.
Yeah.
It is survival economics for housewives.
Yeah.
But you know who isn't playing the petty podcast game and is instead engaging in scorched earth legal warfare? Dr. Divya Srinivasa. Let's talk about the utter surgical evisceration of Kelly Dodd.
Oh my God, this was a massacre. I saw the screenshots.
Kelly Dodd, who famously shoots from the hip and rarely checks her facts, went on the internet and claimed that Dr. Divya was her personal doctor, that Kelly had signed an airtight non-disclosure agreement, and that there were quote-unquote criminal charges against the doctor.
Which is a phenomenally dangerous accusation to hurl at a licensed medical professional in a public forum.
Exactly. You were messing with someone's medical board certification at that point.
And Dr. Divya did not just clap back with a sassy tweet. She brought the entire filing cabinet.
She brought the receipts.
She dismantled Kelly on Instagram, calling her a, quote, spiraling racist, an Islamophobe, and a pathological liar. But more importantly, she brought the literal proof.
Break down the proof for us.
She proved definitively that Kelly was never a patient of hers. She stated on the record that no NDA exists between them. And then she addressed the so-called criminal charges.
This is where we need to explain the mechanics of public records, because this is where Kelly's strategy completely collapsed.
It fell apart so fast.
Kelly tried to frame a minor infraction as a criminal record to destroy a doctor's reputation. The charges Kelly dug up, Dr. Divya revealed it was a minor walking infraction.
A walking infraction.
Essentially a pedestrian jaywalking ticket involving her husband from years before they were even married.
She tried to ruin a medical career over a jaywalking ticket. Are you kidding me?
It exposes a fundamental misunderstanding of how NDAs and legal threats work. You cannot claim a fake NDA exists to cover up your own defamation.
Right.
Kelly constantly finds herself in these one-sided feuds where she throws wild, unverified accusations at the wall, and then she gets systematically dismantled by professionals who know how to use actual legal statutes and public records.
You cannot bring a chaotic Instagram live to a fight with a doctor who knows how to pull municipal court documents. You will lose every time.
Every single time.
But the quote that Dr. Duvia delivered that sent me into orbit, I want it etched on my tombstone.
Read it.
She looked into the camera and said, quote, "Experiencing accountability would be as foreign to you as an intelligent thought.
Boom.
It is poetry. It is a verbal fatality."
It is the clinical precision of that insult that makes it so devastating.
So good. But speaking of getting caught in a lie and bringing actual receipts to the timeline, let's transition out of California entirely.
Where are we going?
We are heading to Atlanta, where the neighborhood watch is out for blood and the Ring cameras are always rolling.
Yes. The drama between Ashley Byram and Angela Oakley, the meta-narrative here is so incredibly rich.
It really is. So Ashley is dragging Angela across the internet for spreading a rumor that Ashley's husband, George, was having an affair with Shemaya Morton.
Standard reality TV rumor mill stuff.
Exactly. But Angela, trying to clear her name and prove she isn't just making things up, claims that she hired a private investigator and that she has been, quote-unquote, vindicated.
Vindicated. She actually used the word vindicated.
She did.
Let's look at the reality TV mechanics of using a private investigator. Historically, bringing a PI into a housewife feud is a classic desperate trope.
Oh, it never works.
It almost always backfires because it shatters the illusion of organic drama. It makes the cast member look incredibly premeditated and unhinged. Did Angela overplay her hand by using a PI to dig up dirt on a castmate's husband?
She definitely overplayed her hand, especially because Ashley countered with the modern, indisputable weapon of choice. Ring camera footage.
The Ring camera is the greatest reality TV producer of our time.
It really is. Ashley posts her home surveillance footage showing Angela showing up at her house on Halloween night right before filming for the season officially started.
Wow.
Allegedly to, quote-unquote, fish for information and orchestrate this exact cheating storyline on camera.
Angela immediately clapped back, calling Ashley a clout chaser and saying, "Truth doesn't need my help." But how do you argue with time-stamped, high-definition video of you standing on someone's porch?
You can't, Snark Squad. I want you to put yourself in Ashley's fuzzy socks for a minute.
Paint the picture.
Imagine this. You're at home on Halloween. You are in your sweatpants, sorting through miniature Snickers bars, just trying to relax. Your doorbell rings.
You think it's trick-or-treaters?
You think it's a group of kids dressed as Spider-Man. You open the door, and it's your neighbor, fully mic'd up in her own mind, standing on your porch, actively trying to orchestrate a reality TV cheating scandal about your husband to secure her peach for the upcoming season.
I would lose it.
What would you do? I would release the hounds. I would activate the sprinkler system. The fact that Ashley just quietly saved the footage to the cloud and dropped it on Instagram months later is strategic genius.
It perfectly illustrates how the fourth wall of reality television has been completely obliterated.
Completely.
Feuds are no longer contained to the filming schedule or settled on the reunion couches. They are litigated in the comment sections using home surveillance footage as evidence. The cast is producing the show on their iPhones before the cameras even roll.
Exactly. The surveillance state is real, and it is messy. But speaking of things caught on camera, let's head down to Miami and talk about Larsa Pippen.
Oh, boy. The internet has been absolutely ruthless this week regarding some candid paparazzi photos of Larsa.
They really have been.
She was roasted for looking, I am trying to state this as clinically as possible, completely unrecognizable in some unedited shots.
Yeah, they were rough.
And her defense strategy. She went on the defensive and blamed it entirely on bad lighting and bad angles. Meanwhile, we should note that Real Housewives of Miami is currently, quote-unquote, on pause and facing significant filming delays.
See, I am going to passionately defend the reality of bad lighting for a second because I feel like we have all been victimized by it.
Defend it. Let's hear it.
Have you ever accidentally opened your front-facing camera while looking down in a poorly lit room?
Yes. And I look like a thumb.
I look like a thumb that has been soaking in a bath for 3 days. I look like a sleep paralysis demon. Lighting and focal lengths on smartphone cameras can absolutely distort your face and make you look like a different species.
That is fair.
So while I know Larsa has had obvious cosmetic interventions, I have deep sympathy for the bad angle defense.
I will concede that overhead fluorescent lighting is the enemy of the human form. However, I have to point out the biological reality here.
Okay, bring the science.
Claiming that bad lighting is the sole reason your face looks entirely different is like claiming a funhouse mirror is a medical diagnosis.
Oh my God.
It is attempting to alter the laws of physics to avoid admitting to cosmetic architecture. Bad lighting casts shadows, right?
Yeah.
It does not inject volume into your cheekbones or alter your bone density.
Okay, when you put it like that.
The lighting excuse is the celebrity equivalent of "the dog ate my homework." It's an insult to the audience's intelligence.
Okay, that funhouse mirror analogy is painfully accurate. But let's shift gears, because while bad lighting excuses and Real Housewives drama are petty and fun to dissect, the internet is also buzzing about some genuinely terrifying fallout in the reality TV sphere.
Yes. Trigger warning for the Snark Squad, because we are moving into discussions of domestic violence and child endangerment.
We need to talk about the unexpected and terrifying arrest of Casey Johnson.
Yes. Casey Johnson is the father of Hunter, from Season 7 of TLC's docuseries Unexpected. The court documents and police reports claim he was arrested for domestic battery and endangering a minor.
The details coming out are just awful.
His wife, Brittany, who is Hunter's stepmom, released some incredibly harrowing details on social media following the arrest.
The details are horrific. She claims Casey put her in a physical chokehold inside a car while their young daughter was in the front seat, actively screaming at him to stop.
It's so disturbing.
And the web of chaos surrounding this family is so deep and contradictory. Brittany actually took to the internet to defend Casey against old abuse claims made by Hunter.
Remind me what those claims were.
If you recall, Hunter claimed Casey had violently pinned him against a wall years ago. But in the same breath, Brittany admits that Hunter also attacked her recently over a dispute about a phone. It is this endless spinning wheel of violence.
And the aftermath of the arrest is just as alarming. Brittany claims she is now sleeping with a loaded gun in her home because Casey's friends allegedly broke into her house wearing latex gloves.
It's a literal nightmare.
This entire situation raises a profoundly disturbing question about the ecosystem of shows like Unexpected or Teen Mom.
Let's unpack that, because it feels like a systemic issue.
It is. We, as an audience, consume these shows about teen pregnancy and multi-generational dysfunction as entertainment. We watch the arguments over baby formula and curfews.
Right, it feels contained.
But this arrest is the stark, brutal reality of what happens when the performative restraint of the camera crew vanishes. The generational cycle of chaos and poverty is deeply ingrained in these families. When the network stops paying them and the producers leave, the volatility doesn't just stop, it often escalates.
It's a very dark reminder that these aren't just characters in a narrative arc. These are deeply troubled people trapped in highly dangerous situations.
It really makes you feel complicit.
It does. You watch them on TV and think, oh, what a messy family dynamic. And a few years later, you are reading police reports about chokeholds and home invasions. It really makes you question the ethics of consuming this type of media.
It absolutely does. And speaking of the psychology of trauma being broadcast for public consumption, we have to talk about Taylor Frankie Paul from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
I am so baffled by her behavior right now. The psychology at play is wild.
Set the scene for us.
So Taylor is currently in the middle of a massive, active DCFS Department of Children and Family Services abuse investigation and a very messy custody battle over her son.
High stakes.
Extremely high stakes. Amidst all of this immense legal pressure, she decides to post a video on Instagram showing off her quote-unquote cherished letters. And right there in the pile, prominently displayed, is a glowing, deeply emotional love letter from her ex, Dakota Mortensen.
Which is astounding because this is the same Dakota she has previously, and very publicly, accused of severe abuse.
Exactly. The fans in the comments were so confused and concerned. They were asking, why are you romantically posting a love letter from your alleged abuser while you were under a microscope by Child Protective Services?
What was her response?
She responded in the comments and then quickly deleted it, of course, saying she keeps the letters as a, quote, diary of that time. Meanwhile, Dakota has completely moved on and is officially dating someone new, Shania Powell.
We need to explain why this is legally catastrophic for her.
Please do.
When you are under an active DCFS probe, family court judges and social workers scrutinize every aspect of your life to determine if your home is a safe environment for a child. They look at your judgment.
Right.
Posting a romanticized letter from an allegedly abusive ex-partner on a public platform signals to a judge that you may lack the protective capacity to keep toxic elements out of your child's life. It undermines every claim of abuse she previously made.
But Snark Squad, I have to ask you, on a human level, outside of the legal ramifications, have you ever kept a toxic ex's
Oh, this is
mementos?
a good question.
Have you ever held on to a letter or a hoodie or a concert ticket stub from a terrible relationship just to prove to yourself that a certain era actually happened? Because I think we all have a hidden shoebox in the back of our closets filled with terrible decisions.
We absolutely do.
Right.
But we have to differentiate between genuine emotional hoarding and calculated social media performance. We don't usually post the content of our shoebox of shame to an audience of millions amidst a custody battle.
That is a very valid distinction.
Was this a strategic, vindictive post designed specifically to mess with Dakota's new relationship? Was it a subtle way to signal to his new girlfriend, look how intensely he loved me?
Ooh, that's toxic.
Or is it a genuine manifestation of trauma bonding, where her reality is so distorted that she truly views these letters as a cherished diary of a confusing time? The intersection of real, unhealed trauma and curated social media grids is a very murky, dangerous place.
It really is. When your entire life, your trauma, your marriage, your divorce is your monetized brand, where does the brand end and the actual human heart begin?
I don't know if Kaylor even knows the answer to that anymore.
I don't think she does. But speaking of the human heart, we have some genuinely tragic news out of New Jersey that really snaps all of this petty reality TV drama back into perspective.
Yes. The news broke regarding RHONJ's Melania Giudice. Her 20-year-old best friend, Victoria Zardoya, tragically died this week.
It is so off.
She suffered a devastating fall down a set of stairs while exploring the ruins at Fort Dade in Florida.
20 years old, just starting her adult life. Both Melania and Joe Giudice, who posted a very moving tribute saying Victoria was, quote-unquote, like a daughter to him, shared these heartbreaking messages online.
It's incredibly sad.
And I have to be honest, reading those tributes, I got genuinely emotional today. It strips away all the snark, the irony, the gossip. It reminds you of the absolute terrifying fragility of life.
It really does.
You can be young, healthy, on a fun weekend trip exploring with your friends, and in one literal second, a misstep happens, and everything changes forever for an entire community.
It is a profound and devastating loss for that family and her friends. And you're exactly right. It provides a very sharp contrast to the trivial things we usually spend our time dissecting. It puts the $500 dinner bills, the Instagram unfollows, and the bad paparazzi lighting into their proper, very microscopic context.
It really does. So to our Snark Squad listening right now, please, when this is over, text your best friend. Call your mom. Hold your loved ones tight tonight. Because this life is so incredibly unpredictable, and we have to cherish the people who make the chaos bearable.
Very well said. It is important to have those grounding moments of sincerity amidst the snark. But as we begin to wrap up our recap today, the machine keeps turning, and I want to bring us back to the business of Bravo.
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the pause that refreshes, specifically regarding the cult classic series, Ladies of London.
Oh, I miss Ladies of London with a burning passion.
It was so good.
The fashion, the accents, the sheer aristocratic condescension, Juliet Angus crying over a ripped sweater. I miss it all.
But there have been all these persistent rumors swirling that the show was actually canceled because cast member Margot Stilley sued Bravo. The blogs were adamant that legal action is what killed the show.
Oh, I totally believe that rumor.
Right. But Andy Cohen went on Radio Andy this week and flat out set the record straight on the mechanics of why shows die.
What did he say?
He stated the show was put on pause for one simple, brutal reason. The ratings just were not good enough to justify the production cost. Margot Stilley also went on Jeff Lewis Live to categorically deny that any lawsuits exist. What is fascinating here is the massive disconnect between cult followings and actual verifiable network metrics.
Explain that disconnect to me, because I feel like everyone I know in my social circle loved that show. How could the ratings be bad?
That is the definition of the echo chamber effect. Beloved shows with highly vocal, chronically online cult followings often fail because the vocal audience isn't actually the mass audience.
Wait, really?
Yes. Fans on Twitter will blame phantom lawsuits or a lack of network promotion or the wrong time slot. And yeah, sometimes a Friday night time slot hurts. But ultimately, the business model of linear television requires a massive, immediate viewership tuning in at a specific hour that cult hits simply do not generate in real time.
So the people tweeting about it weren't actually watching it live on cable.
Exactly. Though the fans are currently screaming for a Peacock revival, much like they did for Real Housewives of Miami, which successfully came back from the dead.
We love a comeback.
And in the streaming era, a vocal cult following actually is a viable metric because streaming relies on long-tail engagement rather than live tune-in numbers. So a revival isn't mathematically out of the question.
Please, universe, give us a Peacock revival of Ladies of London. I need Caroline Stanbury on my screen telling American women how to properly eat a Scotch egg again. I need it for my soul.
We all need it. So as we wrap up this massive download of gossip, chaos, and legal filings, I want to leave the listener with a final provocative thought to mull over.
Give it to us.
We have talked about Dorrit Kemsley facing the foreclosure of an $8 million home while defending her wardrobe budget. We have talked about Taylor Frankie Paul posting toxic love letters amid a child services probe. We have talked about Angela Oakley allegedly getting caught creeping on a Ring camera in the dead of night to manufacture a cheating storyline.
It is a staggering amount of desperate behavior for a television contract.
It is. So here's the question. At what point does trying to secure your spot on a reality show actually destroy your real-life reputation beyond repair?
Wow.
Is the Bravo paycheck or the TLC paycheck or the Hulu paycheck actually worth the permanent, unerasable internet footprint of your absolute lowest, most chaotic moments? When does the fame stop paying for the structural damage it causes to your actual life?
That is a chilling thought. Because the internet is forever. A screenshot of you lurking on a Ring camera or a PDF of your messy divorce financials is going to outlast your reality TV contract by decades.
Exactly. The cameras stop rolling, but the digital footprint is immortal.
So, Snark Squad, we want to hear from you. Slide into our DMs, hit the comments on our latest post. Which story shocked you the most today?
Was it the Beverly Hills math that structurally does not add up, or the Orange County dinner bill entitlement?
Yes. And what is the weirdest, most niche rabbit hole you have fallen into at 1 a.m. recently? We want to know what you are obsessing over.
And please make us feel better. What tiny, insignificant inconvenience almost ruined your entire day this week?
Yes, I need to know. I am not alone in my oat milk-induced existential dread. Please validate my almond milk spiral.
You are definitely not alone in the dread. Thank you all for hanging out with us, for navigating the absolute chaos, and for dissecting the madness of the internet today.
Yes, thank you, babes. We love you so much. Remind your friends to subscribe, leave us a 5-star review because it feeds our fragile egos and helps the algorithm, and share this recap with another gossip-loving big in your life.
Stay fabulous, stay a little nosy, and we'll see you on the Snark side.